Hi, and thanks for tuning in to our live radio show. Moments of Clarity with Tiffany will begin in just a few moments. Please stay tuned. Kindly take this opportunity to share this show on your platforms because change can only come when we stand together as one, especially when it comes to ending the stigma on mental health.
You are not alone, and help is out there.
Kids have mental health issues, and we also need to learn coping skills.
Let's get started and let the show begin. See you soon.
Don't put yourself down, time for a change. Believe in yourself, time to rearrange. Be your best friend, bring hope to your day. Lose your critic, get out of your way. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it, moments of clarity. To yourself be kind, it will please your mind. Find your joy, trust in you. Put in the time, you'll see how you grow. Many kinds of love you get to define. Find self-love, you're so alive. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it, moments of clarity.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. My name is Tiffany Werhner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And I've been looking forward to today. We've got some co-producers of an upcoming show from This Is My Brave, all the way from California, and John Tsilimparis and KarenPickett. And thank you so much for being here. And I can see you guys. You can't see me, but I can see you in the back. Just kind of like, moments of clarity.
I was rocking.
I can see both of you popping your head.
Great
I
music.
love that. It's catchy.
Now
Wonderful.
it clicks. Moments of clarity. Now it clicks. Very nice. Well done.
I'm just John just sitting there going, just watching it.
Lucky I didn't pick my nose or something like that.
Well, no one else can see you. I can see the behind the scenes.
Oh, all right.
That's funny. Yesterday, my guest was like jamming to that funky song too. It's kind of funny. It's cute. Anyway, we got Tan Talk Radio here. As soon as they unmute their mic, Ed, we can start the show, and we'll begin in just a moment. Hi, everyone watching, and Melissa Kent off of YouTube. Hi, thank you so much for joining us. Let's give some shouts out really quick before Joe Potosi. Thanks from LinkedIn. Thank you for joining us today, and invite your friends to watch the show. Thank you for reminding me to say that. Please share the show on your platforms because change can only come when we stand together as one, and it helps spread the word, especially with our guest from This Is My Brave. That helps so many people. It's a charity. I want to talk about that during the show. Thank you again, Joe from LinkedIn. He's part of the team. Calling with questions or comments, 866-826-1340. Once the
8
radio.
to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, TheLiberationStation.com.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network. Welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werhner, licensed mental health counselor in the state of Florida. Moments of Clarity's mission is to educate and end the stigma on mental health through the inspirational stories of our exceptional guests. You can join in the show by calling Tiffany toll-free at 866-826-1340 or on Facebook and Twitter at MOC with Tiffany. Now, here's Tiffany Werhner.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in. This is Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. My name is Tiffany Werhner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And today we've got two of the main people that are co-producers for an upcoming show, but from a company, an organization called This Is My Brave. And it's a lot similar to my understanding as kind of a TEDx talk where people can stand up and talk about their journey to a platform of listeners and be brave. And it's probably facing most of everyone's worst fear is public speaking. And I don't know. I've known people that have actually done it, and it's changed their life. It's empowered them. Before I introduced my guest formally, let's say hi to Ed at Tan Talk Radio. There's Ed. Hi.
Hey, happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, I missed you yesterday, but I understand. Another year survived.
Took the day off, yeah.
You deserve a day off. You deserve a day off, but yeah. What'd you do for your birthday? You have a good one?
Let's see. First, we went to the library, then to church, and then to the bingo hall.
No, you didn't. You're so full of it. I totally.
In between that, I saved the world, by the way, and fought some crime.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk later about what kind of mushrooms you ate. If you thought you did that, I'm just kidding.
Ugh.
Totally kidding. No, I know you're a private person. So anyway, happy birthday.
Thanks.
And we have some amazing guests here. And please call in 866-826-1340. And please say hi to Ed when you do. Call in for questions and comments. I'm just kidding about the mushroom. Ed doesn't do that. But if he said
he got me there. He got me with the
bingo hall. Like, I'm like,
yeah, I took it hook, line, and sinker for a minute.
You got to know him, I guess. Otherwise, you'd believe him. But no, just anyway.
Right.
So my guests today is Jaison Thomas and KarenPickett, and they are the co-founders of a show coming up in LA, but the Los Angeles performance of This Is My Brave. And for those that don't know, This Is My Brave is a show dedicated to ending the stigma surrounding mental health and allowing people to understand have their voice, being able to find their voice and discuss what they felt brave about. And I'll let them explain it a little bit more. Let me introduce and welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany, Jaison Thomas and KarenPickett.
Thanks. Yeah, I wanted to add to that. The This Is My Brave's mission or cause is exactly like yours, which is literally we use the words ending mental illness stigma. So our goals and our whatever the spirit is aligned. And also, too, this is just one of 60 shows that have been produced all over the country and in Australia in the last 5 or 6 years. And the shows are, really powerful. They're compelling. They're emotional. And you're right. Sometimes people have never been on stage before. And this is, for many people, sometimes the first time they've ever told their story. So the national organization is called This Is My Brave, as you said, and it's thisismybrave.org. If anybody wants to check it out. And they do a lot more than shows. They also do teen shows too, but they're involved in a lot of mental health advocacy. I'm a mental health advocate. I am a psychotherapist as well, and I've been for the last 28 years. Karen is the same, but I'll let her tell you. I'm also an author, and Karen and I were also on a reality show years ago. about mental illness. So we've been around the
A
subject for a long
reality
time.
show.
Pardon me?
There's a mental illness reality show.
Well, it wasn't just about mental illness, but it was called Obsessed, and it was on the A&E network, and it was really
Yeah, I
shedding
think
light.
I saw it. I've heard of that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we were 2 of 4 therapists on there that were treating patients with severe OCD on camera. And the show did well the first year. The second year, it started to lop off, but you can still find it on iTunes and all kinds of other platforms. But anyway, so we've been around the subject a lot. It's very passionate. I'm very passionate about it. It's a subject that's near and dear to my heart. And so doing this show, especially here in LA, where we're pretty connected, is kind of it's kind of a joy to do it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. That's really cool being the reality that I would like this show to go to television someday, because I want more mental health being discussed on television rather than just Dr. Phil or, I want real mental health on there. I didn't know there was a real show called Incest, but
Yeah, and I think, Tiffany, as many negative things that we've experienced throughout the pandemic, it seems like for the reasons of the pandemic and also some, famous celebrities coming forward, that mental health seems to be starting to get its day in terms of recognition that this is really something that needs to be addressed and that most people suffer from at some point in their lives.
Everyone has something. And if they say they don't, they're lying or they're in denial.
Right. Because a lot of people think, oh, everybody else has got the perfect life. And it's like, and when I talk to my clients, I'm like, wow, no, I mean, it's so not true. And I think, one of the reasons that I'm very passionate about what I do, and I'll let John speak for himself, is that I myself suffered from major depression. And at one point I was a homebound agoraphobic. Which, if you don't know, that's severe panic disorder. I couldn't leave my house.
Fear of leaving your house.
Yeah. And,
it's kind of like getting to that point with a lot of people. We get to work from home so much. It's kind of like and everything online, ordering and everything.
Right.
I think I've been outside of my house. I'm like, I've actually gotten outside today.
That's a big deal.
But
the re-entry anxiety, we talk about this, John and I do, it's like, yes, people are just, like, oh, I'm so comfy now being at home, but that's caused its own problems. But I know that's not what we're talking about today.
But I can completely relate. We could do a whole nother show on that.
Oh, yes. Tons.
I have a beautiful office and everything, but I have everything set up at my home office as well. It's
right. And
readjusting after 2 years. But we'll adapt. Because we adapted to readapt.
But as John said, the platform for someone to tell their story of their struggle, a bit of it, whether it's through, and these are live shows. We're producing the live show in Los Angeles. This is going to be the 3rd show that I've co-produced. And they're just amazing because, through comedy, through music, through art, through monologue, people share their experience in their own unique way. And it tends to be so liberating for the participants, but also the audience. And then all the performances are posted on the This Is My Brave YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. So, it's just very heartwarming. And I think the participants, the cast members, as we call them, really experience this huge amount of love and support. And again, this is my brave, as you said, Tiffany, opening. The brave part is standing up and talking about it. And as Jennifer Marshall, the founder of This Is My Brave, says, one of these days we won't call it talking about mental health. We'll just call it talking.
Mm-hmm. That's well said. So I was telling John earlier that I had a guest on my show about a year or 2 back, and very, very anxious person. But she went on and on and on because she had participated in This Is My Brave.
Aww.
And she was still anxious to be on Moments of Clarity, but at the same time, she had just done This Is My Brave and wanted me to watch it and posted it everywhere. It said that transformed her life. So basically, one of my shows have been already about
Aw,
this is my brave.
that's so great.
That's how I know all about you guys. But at the same time, most of the guests that come and share on Moments of Clarity,
Mhm.
they say the same thing. I call it a post-show high. Like basically, they feel they're, oh my gosh, I just told my story on live radio, on live everything, virtual, YouTube, LinkedIn, all that stuff. And a lot of them will say, they'll do a pre-interview. I don't want you to tell them about this. I don't want you to tell anybody this or whatever. And then they end up telling it anyway.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to break their trust or anything. But
Mhm.
and then it's changed them. They're different now. They all of a sudden realize that they can talk about past sexual abuse and not be judged. From Hollywood movie to producers to authors to everything, that they actually, the more transparent and the more we tell our story, the more we heal, no matter what we've been through. And it's not always about mental health. It could be trauma from the past or just things that we've gone through, experiences, and it doesn't make it mentally ill. It means everybody's gone through something. It's how we handle it that defines our character.
Yeah. And, Tiffany, that's always been there. Mental illness has always been there through the millennia. And there's always been trauma. There's always been people that have been affected by it. What's changing now is that people are actually just talking about it more. And that's the thing that heals people, is to actually talk about it. Why does it do that? Nobody really knows. Why does psychotherapy work so well? Well, there's something about humans getting things off their chest, talking about something that has been bothering them for a long time, and getting support from that. That action works really well. And, getting back to everyone is affected, the only normal people out there are people you don't know very well.
I don't know what normal means.
Right. So if the only normal people out there are the ones you don't know very well, then there's a good chance that everybody that you know, even the person that you respect and pedestalize, has got some issues in there, and it's just in varying degrees. So we're just trying to create a little more candor, a little more unashamed conversations about it. And, it's very slow, but it does work. And so the show and everything that This Is My Brave does, your show is just one little, hopefully it will be bigger, but it's one little, aspect of that. And it's really important to get that word out.
I think the more that people, I agree with you, John. I think the more people tell their story, it's like getting a skeleton off her closet. Because like when we brush stuff under the rug can build, metaphorically, a lump builds. And eventually we start tripping over it. The more we talk about what's going on or what we've been through or what's on our mind, the more we heal, because getting things off our chest, knowing that we're not judged, or just not living with undeserved shame, undeserved guilt, undeserved judgment, or fear of judgment, fear of all that kind of stuff, really helps people heal, because they feel like they aren't bad people. Because most of us are our own worst critic. The part with This Is My Brave probably is a double whammy, though, because not only do they have to public speak live, but they have to tell their story live, as well as public speaking, which is one of the most common fears and anxiety for most people, are not comfortable public speaking.
Yeah, and somewhere along the way, we know that, opinions just sort of developed about these myths and misconceptions. And I always say that, in the same way that human organs can fail us, lungs, kidney, heart, if the human organs can fail us through no fault of our own, why can't the brain?
Of course.
So it's like a physio. I don't get it. Did I just get a ring?
You got a bell. You got 3.
Bell number 1.
I say it all the time. You speak my language. It's like, just because it's invisible doesn't mean it needs to heal. I mean, it needs to heal. Just kind of, if we broke our arm, we would want to put a cast on it. If you didn't, it might, eventually heal, but it would never heal the same or as well. Right. So,
and lastly, on that point, you can't see it on a CAT scan. You can't see it on a blood test. I guess maybe some blood tests you could. You can't see it on a PT scan or whatever those are called, CT scan, sorry. And so people only believe what they see or what they feel. And if they have never felt the kinds of symptoms that people with, let's say, mental health conditions feel, or have never been through a catastrophic time, it's very difficult for them to understand it until they experience it themselves. And that's what we want to change. You don't have to have something horrible happen to you to understand mental illness.
Right. And not only that, just because it's invisible, like I think a lot of people are more like concerned of what people can see, but just because it's invisible doesn't mean it's less important or that it's not there. Anyway, it's getting time to our first break. I want to remind callers that you can leave comments on the show and join our live chat. But not only that, if you've ever had an empowering experience where you told your story, or if you'd like to know more about This Is My Brave or how they can get on there, or share a time where you've told your story and it's empowered you, or any of the above, any kind of feedback or comments, call 866-826-1340, 866-826-1340. It's time for our first break, and we will be back with Moments of Clarity in just a moment, so please stay tuned.
You're listening to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werhner. We welcome your input at 866-826-1340. Tiffany will be right back after this.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hello, my name is Lucy Lopes, and I'm a real estate agent that supports ending the stigma on mental health with Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. I am also passionate about helping you buy or sell your home. With times being so difficult, I'm here to help. Contact me at lucylopes.com. That's LUCYLOPES.com. Let me assist you through this pandemic and know that you are not alone.
If you're a show host, gamer, live streamer, podcast host, or radio show host that would like your message to get out and reach up to 30 platforms, then there's an affordable way to do that. It's called Restream. Restream makes it easy to broadcast professional live videos from your browser to multiple social platforms at once. Start your live show with guests, brand it with logos and overlays, and create an interactive experience for your audience. Learn more at Restream.io and mention Moments of Clarity for special offers.
Hi, this is Tiffany Werhner, your host of Moments of Clarity. Living with a mental health disorder is not easy. If you or someone you know are struggling with this, please know it's so important to seek treatment, and I'm here to help. Please visit the website at momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com to view blog posts and resources on this site to help educate and inspire you to take action, because there's no shame in seeking help for mental health. While you're there, please take a few seconds to sign up for my email list. You'll get some extremely valuable educational and entertaining content that can be sent right to your inbox each week. Plus, you'll also get instant and free access to my guide on managing your anxiety. You can also follow me on Twitter at mocwithtiffany and at Facebook at Tiffany Werhner. And once again, the website is momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com. Thank you so much for your support and for listening to your show, because change can only come when we stand together as one.
Are you looking for a great book? If you like to root for the underdog, Joe Potosi's book is a book for you. A real American Odyssey that will grab your attention with its fast-moving narrative. You won't be able to put this masterpiece down. When the Dust Settled by Joe Potosi. Go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or Zulin Press.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
We are back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werhner. To join in the discussion, call 866-826-1340. Now, here's Tiffany Werhner.
Hi, and welcome back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. My name is Tiffany Werhner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And today we have two other psychotherapists as well, but a licensed psychotherapists from Los Angeles, California, that are co-producers for a platform called This Is My Brave, that is coming out in later this year, and giving people a voice, a platform to speak their story, to end the stigma on mental health. And I love how they speak my language with that. And welcome back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany, Jaison, Tsilimparis, and KarenPickett.
Thanks for having us again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Am I getting your last name right, John? I know you said you weren't correcting me.
Yes, it's good. You're good. Thank you.
I'm actually doing it.
Give yourself a bell.
Yeah. The T is silent. The A is an ah. I'm not gonna. Anyway. Yeah. So welcome back, and so what are some things? And welcome callers to call in 866-826-1340, 866-826-1340. So if we're just to reset the room and recap, that This Is My Brave is a platform where people can go on live, public speak, and share their story, and no matter how transparent, in a safe environment, on a safe platform. And it's when what you said, over 60 shows have been
60
done.
shows.
Wait. Also, we're also a 501c3 nonprofit. So we're a
So,
charity pretty much, and we
yeah, so
use
for
the
the
shows as
listeners
the
that don't know
platforms.
what that means, 501c3 means if you donate it, you get a tax write. And donate to them, you get a tax write-off. They're nonprofit,
Right.
and
Everyone is volunteer. Everyone
volunteer.
does it
That's
volunteer.
yay.
The show is the platform, and that's the main way that they express this, sentiment to end mental illness stigma.
I was interviewing someone that was doing a Star Wars volunteer thing. It's a sidebar though, and he was like, "Yeah, we're a 501c3," and the 501c3, and I was like the 501c3PO, and he was like, "I never caught on to that."
Oh,
I was like,
I never thought of that. That's funny.
C3PO, and he's like Star Wars guy. Like, it's pretty funny. Like, they are legit, like, dressed in the gear and do their charity. Another show, but I thought that was kind of funny. Anyway, so you've got some.
Yeah,
Karen was gonna say
we were talking about the different ways of ending stigma surrounding mental illness and through storytelling, and that this is the mission of This Is My Brave, as well as your show, Tiffany. And one of the things I wanted to say is that, as human beings, we're wired through our survival mechanism to be frightened of being vulnerable. Because if you think of an animal who's vulnerable, then they're vulnerable to attack. They're vulnerable to, to injury or death even. So it's always so fascinating to me. And I know, like Brene Brown has done a lot of research and writing on this topic, but vulnerability is exactly what's being expressed in This Is My Brave, when people get up and share their stories. And, the heart's beating really fast, as we were talking about, before they get on stage. But then afterwards, there is that, what did you call it, Tiffany?
But the post-show high?
Yeah, the post-show high, And so while being vulnerable is something that we fear, and that it is natural to fear, it is actually, being vulnerable is actually what connects us. And being vulnerable in this way, and being a participant in This Is My Brave, gives it, implicitly gives others permission to do the same. And that's another reason why This Is My Brave, the more shows we do, and the more shows you do, Tiffany, and the more celebrities, and the more everybody who comes out and talks about their experiences with mental illness, we start normalizing it. And then it doesn't take so much to be vulnerable and to connect with others, about our shared experiences with mental illness.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people actually, after they share their story, the best part about it is people will come up and say, I can relate.
Yes, exactly.
Or
so it starts making that connection.
I was suffering in silence for so long, and then after you shared your journey, I might be able to not feel alone, or I can.
Exactly. I see how brave you were. Now maybe I can go tell, my parents, my sister, my friend, whoever, that I'm suffering with this, and it just starts to build community. And that's really what is, I think, so gratifying to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we can't do it fast enough, really.
Especially those, I think, more transparently, the ones that have been ashamed of what they were about to share. Not just that they went through, not just a car accident that they recovered, or that where it's not so shameful, but maybe child sexual abuse or incest, or something where they've suffered in silence because they didn't want anyone to know, or incarceration or substance abuse, or telling their journey about that, which is to them very embarrassing, and then realizing that they're not alone, and having the audience come up and say, I've been abused my whole life and I've never told anyone, and thank you for speaking of that, or something, is what I've heard a lot of people do. I wrote a book on adult survivors of incest and sexual abuse, and it empowered the 5 people that are. It's nonfiction. It's a self-help book, but the people in the book are they. It's like they changed.
Yeah.
They told the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not only
And
that, but
and
in a group too. And I have a trauma group too that I run on Monday nights with my clients.
yeah, and the way Karen was saying that it normalizes it legitimizes it. You know, it's true that mental health should be a right, not a privilege. And so other areas that we need a lot of change in, and that's also the goal of This Is My Brave, is to try to enact change with primary care, because primary care and mental health care is very different. They're like separate entities. And sometimes the primary health does not always give the mental health the respect that it deserves, because it's still mental illness. And so
the primary health sometimes tries to diagnose the mental health, and then they get it wrong, and that too.
Or they don't ask about it at all,
right?
And it just goes right by, and then that perpetuates the shame. Well, if the doctor didn't ask me, maybe I shouldn't talk about it. You know, it's that kind of a thing, and it should be standard assessment and evaluation to have that in primary care. Because look, it's very true. It's much easier to prevent a mental health crisis than it is to repair one.
I know.
So if in general,
Botox.
if in general people have that mentality, and we are looking out for those things from the beginning, like, you know, the pandemic could be going on a little bit longer. Let's work on our mental health issues, or at least our self-care issues, so that we don't get another dip, so that we don't sort of fall into that depression hole. But that's still not there. It's not really there yet. Everything should just sort of be handling it well now. And that's just not the right approach to it.
7 years ago, when I first started the show, it was hard for me to get people to come on the show to tell their story. They're like, I don't want to put myself out there. Now I find you guys came to me, you know, things like that. Like, then celebrities and authors are willing to speak out. And so it's come a long way in 7 years, just that I've witnessed, but it's got a long way to go.
For sure.
But it's
and you know, Tiffany is
go ahead. That the like with the celebrities and everything, the stigma is lightening up, and people are reaching out and seeing that it's real, especially since COVID. That's the one good thing that COVID did, is that it showed everyone that anxiety and depression is real, because we had to all go through this pandemic together. And I think back in the day, the misconception of mental health was from the media, with like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and the movies that said, like, you know, you go into a counseling session, you're going to get a lobotomy, and like people are going to drill holes in your head and stuff that doesn't happen. And there's been a lot of growth, but we have a lot more room to grow, for sure.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you were talking, Tiffany, about, you know, people being ashamed to, you know, and a lot of shame and stigma around telling stories of abuse and things like that. And the same applies for anxiety or depression, or even taking medication. You know, I mean, I've had a lot of clients, you know, who, because of their cultural or religious backgrounds, you know, have felt that it isn't right for me to talk about this. It isn't right for me to, you know, to take these medications, or, you know, people have different views and beliefs about recovery and treatment and what that means, you know, to even seek help. So again, I think, you know, that through this process of This Is My Brave, you know, people are talking about not only what their hardships were, but maybe also a little bit about what else, in addition to telling their story, has helped them recover.
It's like the journey from finding their moment of clarity, right?
Yeah.
We have a question.
I was wondering when I was going to get a bell.
Yeah. Oh, you want one?
Yeah.
I should be more aware of that. I should, you know, evenly distribute bells here. On LinkedIn, for the virtual listeners or audio listeners, Joe Potosi said, ending the stigma on mental health means what exactly? I can answer this all day, but you guys, if you want to take the lead, I can tie it
What does
up.
it mean exactly?
It's the caption across our screen. Ending the stigma on mental health means what exactly?
Oh, Well, it's kind of like what we've been talking about. It's really taking away the judgment, the criticism that somebody is inferior because they have a mental health condition, that somehow they are maybe dangerous, or they are not capable of functioning in society, or they're not capable of holding a job, which are all myths and misconceptions.
Yes.
And it's not one thing that causes it, really. It's a confluence of influence. It's many things that cause that. Again, media, myths, misconceptions, the past. Sometimes religions and cultures are really tough on mental illness. So there's a lot of things, but ending it is really raising awareness, ending the tunnel vision, and broadening the lens.
And also, in fact, on John's podcast, Mindfulness for the Soul, he and I did a podcast a few weeks ago on mental health stigma and ending mental health stigma. And it's also about the self-stigma. It isn't just about society stigma. It's about self-stigma, that there's something inherently wrong with me because I'm suffering with this. And again, as we build community through things like your show, This Is My Brave, then, people are realizing there isn't something inherently wrong with me. This is a disease. This is a disorder. These are circumstances that caused my PTSD, whatever, that made me, I was a victim of abuse, whatever. So it's like, there's nothing wrong with me that I'm experiencing this. We are getting out there and saying, no, this is a human condition, so no need to hide in the shadows. Let's join together and bring this forward.
So
a good example of, sorry.
I just have to piggyback or I'm gonna lose it. My friend Joe always says your condition does not have to be your conclusion.
Oh, that's good.
I like that. Yeah. And also, when you ask somebody, what's wrong? And someone says, well, I'm suffering from diabetes, or I'm having an asthma attack. People say, oh, I'm so sorry. But if you ask somebody, how are you feeling? And they say, well, I'm feeling depressed, or I'm anxious, they give you skepticism.
Not all the time. The stigma is like the point of
or you're weak,
is to identify, to explain what bipolar really is. To describe depression doesn't always mean sadness and suicidal ideations and things like that. It can mean like a motivation or fatigue and things like that.
Right.
Anxiety does not always mean fear of complete panic and phobias and all that. Obsessive compulsive disorder does not always mean clean. It's, there's perfectionism. OCD actually, obsessive compulsive, is intrusive thoughts, thinking that everything is so misunderstood. The stigma on it is that people feel that there's a label that's going to be attached to them. And it's really funny that when you go in to a job interview and you're getting these, and you get the job, let's say, and you go into the HR, human resource department, to fill out, and they're like, oh, you get a 401k, we've got benefits, you got dental, you got vision. And they never seem to end, as far as I know, because I have to ask my clients, do you have employee assistance program for mental health? They're like, I don't know. And then they ask, and sure enough, they have free sessions. And it's funny that the human resource during the interview, they're not saying, and you get 8 free sessions for mental health, because they don't want to offend them. But okay, but you're gonna say you get dental and vision. What? Is there something wrong with my teeth?
Good point.
Do I look blind or something? But it's okay to point that out, because we have dental. Like, why do I look like I need dental? Like, but mental health, it's like, why do I look like I need mental health? It should all tie in together,
Yeah, good point. Really good
point. I like,
and
the self-stigma is important, because that's when people start believing all of the negative views and negative comments and negative labels about mental illness. And then they start to believe it themselves. And then they start to feel unworthy or unentitled to care. And the CDC reports that poor mental health treatment results in an increase in other problems and a bleaker outlook for the future. And it raises potential for suicide, substance abuse, legal issues, and future psychopathology. That's pretty intense.
And on the point of the employee assistance program, right? Employers are doing a disservice, because most people call out if they're not legitimately sick because they're going through a divorce or family problems, or didn't sleep well that night, or lack of motivation, or depression, or whatever. And if they were to embrace and say, hey, there's not going to be any judgment. If you're going through depression, we're here for you. It would show more loyalty from their employees, more productivity, because like if somebody's suffering in silence with anxiety or depression, the work productivity goes down anyway. So they'd be more likely to be energized, ready to go to work. I mean, it's just things that people need to think about. Let's
true.
close on that note for a second, because it's time. Well, I'm going to let you finish your sentence, but we have to take our second break. But
Okay.
go ahead, Don.
Oh, you want me to?
Finish your sentence.
I was just going to say, yeah. So lack of support, not only in primary care, but from employers. And we can talk more about this. When there's lack of support with family, especially close ones, that is extremely painful for people. If I had a nickel for every time I heard that, I'd be a billionaire, because everyone says that.
You could have a penny and still be.
When the people that you love and the people that are supposed to be the most there for you either can't understand it or don't care to, that really promotes the self-stigma.
The ironic part is most of mental health stuff is genetic. So
yeah.
They probably have it too, and they just don't want to deal with it. Let's pause on that, and we're going to come back with Moments of Clarity with Tiffany and the co-producers of the upcoming This Is My Brave episode in just a moment, so please stay tuned.
We will return to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werhner after these messages.
This is the Tam Talk Radio Network.
If you are like most people, you worry with the financial challenges you face today. How do you protect your family from financial ruin? How will you reduce your liabilities and get out of debt sooner? And how can you deal effectively with the constant changes in your job, your career, and your business? Overcoming your financial challenges is like building a house. You must build from the ground up. You must learn how to make more money, save more money, grow your money, and protect your money. Forever Forward Financial specializes in teaching you these 4 basic money skills so you can achieve your dreams and end your worry. Call us today and schedule your complimentary, no-obligation meeting to discuss your needs and concerns. Call Scott Bigley at 727-422-7761.
Are you having trouble staying sober after you've completed rehab and need a positive environment to help you continue sobriety? At Real Recovery Sober Living, we strive in both community and environment for men in early sobriety to help support you while in early recovery. For only $750 a month, we cover everything you need when it comes to a safe, clean, and accountable environment necessary for success in sobriety. Check out our website at realrecoveryfl.com. That's realrecoveryfl.com. We have 6 locations in Tampa, St. Petersburg, Clearwater, Brandon, North Tampa, and Bradenton, because everyone deserves a quality, sober living.
Hi, this is your host, Tiffany Werhner from Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. I want to thank you for all your support on ending the stigma on mental health for over the past 7 years and with over 600 episodes, as well as several award nominations and placing as a finalist in 3 categories on the People's Choice Podcast Award last year. If you're listening to this on audio, please visit and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Moments of Clarity with Tiffany and enjoy viewing previous shows in case you miss any live. If you're interested in advertising and would like to promote your company, it is affordable and an effective way to get your company the attention it deserves. I also welcome potential guests as well, and all information can be found on my website at mocwithtiffany.com. Thank you again for your continued support, as change can only come when we stand together as one. Hi, this is Tiffany Werhner, your host of Moments of Clarity. I'd like to give a shout out to musician-songwriter Don Lawson, who wrote, produced, and performed all the vocals and instruments on my Moments of Clarity theme song. Don gained his inspiration as a mental health counselor himself. He's always looking for artists to record his songs, and you can hear more of Don's music at reverbnation.com/Don Lawson. You can also check him out on Twitter at Don Lawson Music. Thank you so much, Don, for your contribution to Moments of Clarity and ending the stigma on mental health. It's awesome.
This is the Tam Talk Radio Network.
Now back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werhner, licensed mental health counselor. To engage in the conversation, call 866-826-1340. Here's Tiffany.
Hi, and welcome back. And if you're just tuning in, this is Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. My name is Tiffany Werhner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor and your host. And I'm with two other licensed psychotherapists from LA that are co-producers of a show coming up, the 60th something show in LA called This Is My Brave, giving people a platform to share their story and to be brave and ending the stigma on mental health. And welcome back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany, KarenPickett, and John Tsilimparis.
Bell.
For you
Nice.
guys just tuning in,
Nice.
I've been struggling with his last name.
Right.
We have
we
a
really
caller
appreciate you
online.
having us on. We really do.
Oh,
We
it's my
love to
pleasure.
spread the word. Yeah. And if anyone's interested in learning more, they can go on the Instagram, which is This Is My Brave LA 2022. That's the show address for the Instagram. The show is going to be September 25th, 2022. So it's a ways away, but there's a lot of prep that's involved in this. So we like to create the Brave Buzz early. If you have any questions for me, I'm at johnsilimparis.com and KarenPickett.com.
The T is silent.
Pardon me?
Tsilimparis. Tsilimparis. So it looks
thank
like
you. That's right.
still Paris, but Tsilimparis.
Right. So
anyway,
johnsilimparis.com.
How about just go to thisismybrave.org?
Yeah, that's the best place to go because you can get all of the stories in there and all of the links are in there.
Yes, thisismybrave.org is a lot easier to spell. Anyway, while we were on break, we got a caller. We got caller Joe on the line. Hi, Joe. Thanks for calling in. Welcome to Moments of Clarity.
Thank you for another wonderful show, Tiffany.
Thank you.
John and Karen, thank you for coming on.
You're welcome.
I just would like to share. I heard Tiffany say this, and I believe I heard John say this as well. I just want to share a real quick story. So about 15 years ago, I had to have surgery, and I became very anxious and basically overwhelmed. Had the surgery, but this anxiety, overwhelming feeling never went away. So I saw my family physician, and he said, "Oh, let's try some medicine," and he put me on Lexapro. And I'm telling this story so the audience can know that the bottom line is don't give up. If the first medicine doesn't work, don't give up. I was on Lexapro, and strangely enough, I had all these suicidal ideations. I would just picture in my mind getting off work at the dairy, drive up to the local lake, and drive into the lake. It was so unlike me. It was so weird, so strange, and I stopped
but
taking.
Not everybody has that reaction to the same medication, so I don't want to scare people away from
No.
if needed. But
that was my reaction to it. So I called my doctor, and we tried a few different other ones. The second one maybe caused me to gain a lot of weight, and the doctor's like, "Look, you want to have good mental health, or you want to be mentally ill and physically fit? What's the most important thing? You got to pick and choose." Is my point. So eventually, I got on this medicine, and I take it every day. And yes, men are proud, and they're like, "I ain't going to stupid doctor. I'm not taking happy pills." That's what they're called around these parts.
They're not happy pills. They're anti-misery pills.
Right, but that's my point is that I'm glad I reached out for help and that I got onto a regimen, and I'm all about trying to help people who are struggling with their mental health. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, to look the other way and not try to be that person that picked the other person off the ground is, I think, a big problem in our country.
Yes.
And
well said, and I'm glad you brought that up, Joe, and thanks for calling in. That's a great question and great feedback. We're getting kind of close to the end of the show, so I'm going to have to wrap you up, but thank you. And this is Joe who came up with "Your condition does not have to be your conclusion."
It's a great quote. And medications, is always good to remember that all medications are idiosyncratic. It affects everybody differently. Right. And sometimes it takes a while to find the right one. But the key word is impairment. if you're suffering from any kind of mental health condition and you're functional and you get through your day and you don't have impairments, I don't know that you need to consider medication. But if you do have impairments where you can't fulfill role obligations in your life, you can't take care of your kids, you can't work, you can't exercise, you can't travel, you can't do anything, then medication is always indicated. At least getting a psychological evaluation from a psychiatrist is the
or
best
a
thing to
therapist.
do.
I could do psych evals too. But not only that, if you feel yourself lack of motivation or less interested in things you normally like to do, or feeling lonely or hopeless or more depressed, or your mind's wandering and you can't concentrate on TV or watching or reading a book because you're anxious and all of that kind of stuff, or avoiding things because it seems too challenging because you just don't want to, and one more thing on your plate, and feeling overwhelmed and feeling instead of being mindful. And I'm going to take one challenge on per day and being mindful of stuff, like in capitals, like mindful, I can't, should haves, would haves, what ifs, fears of unknown, fears of abandonment, fears of commitment, fears of intimacy, all that stuff, being mindful and taking one thing at a time, being rather than mind, FULL, capital, full of, what. Anyway, but Joe, I'm going to have to hang up right now so I can close up the show. But thank you so much for calling in, my friend, and for sharing, because that's a great feedback. Have a good day. Anyway, so we only have a few minutes left. So let's talk about, first of all, I also wanted to kind of give a props for your podcast, Mindfulness for the Soul.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you.
I got that down pat now, Karen. I got it. Tsilimparis. Challenge for the week, but hey, now I got it. I won't forget again. Anyway, mindfulness for the I have it uploaded. Mindfulness for the show.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's like psychological bites, mental health insights, relaxation techniques. Sometimes we touch topics like Karen and I did last week on ending mental health stigma and the shame around it. And in a few weeks, we're going to do something. We're going to do a podcast on spirituality and psychotherapy and how the two can live together. For a lot of people, they think they can't, but they can. So I know a lot of people are going to be interested in that one as well.
That's great. And where do you find that and tune in?
Oh, you can find it on Apple Podcasts. You can find it on Spotify. If they just Google it, it will come up. So there's many other platforms that it's on. It's pretty popular now. Good.
Mindfulness for the soul.
Yeah.
Kind of like Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. It used to be Moments of Clarity, but everybody, there's a lot of Moments of Clarity. So I had to add with Tiffany because
it's a great title. I really like it.
Yeah.
I came up with it with a good friend of mine, rest in peace, but he was a coloring artist for Marvel Comics. And just a sponsor. And he passed away a couple years ago, but he was one of my close friends. And we were just brainstorming. And we did that and my Moments of Clarity. But then there's so many, like you Google it, and there's so many Moments of Clarity. So I had to add the with Tiffany to so I'm not mixed up with everyone else. But anyway, so as for This Is My Brave, Los Angeles, coming fall 2022. And people can audition by going to thisismybrave.org right? Am I getting it right? And just tap on what they would like to do, and they can audition. Do they have to audition or?
They do. Or they can go to the Instagram page, which is This Is My Brave LA 2022 Instagram.
Yeah. All you have to type in on that is This Is My Brave, and there's 2 of them that pop up, and you'll find it easy. Yeah. For the ones that are listening.
Yeah, they can send us a note.
So much. Thank you so much.
If they like the page or follow the page, then when we have the shout outs and the announcements, they will see them.
Oh, great. So I'll be seeing those announcements and shout outs then too.
Yeah, you
will.
And please follow me back and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Moments of Clarity with Tiffany.
I have already.
I already have.
Instagram, MOC with Tiffany. And change can only come when we stand together as one, and promoting each other and everything that we do to end the stigma on mental health. We have to do it all together. I mean, once upon a time, I felt like I was a one-man soldier. And as time went on, I started meeting other people that are like-minded. It's a small community of us like that, but we all tend to find each other eventually that are passionate on helping others, and somehow word of mouth or whatever brings us all together. And we realized we're not alone, that there's an army of us out there, but we're just not collaborating together enough.
Warriors. We're warriors now, ending mental health stigma.
I'm a pioneer.
Good.
Anyway,
way to go, Tiffany. Woohoo!
Thank you for everything you guys do.
Likewise. You as well.
You help, and maybe one day, if it's in Florida, I'll audition to tell my story.
There are a couple shows in Florida going on in the fall, so check it out, Tiffany.
We would love it.
I said maybe one day. Yeah. I kind of have 4 jobs going on right now, so we'll see what happens. But
but think about how powerful that message would be. That you suffer.
If I could do it virtually, that would be great.
But you suffer from mental illness, yet you're very accomplished, and you have a radio show, and you probably have lots of other things going on. So
I would say mental health.
That would be a very empowering.
A lot of people get the label, like food. Somebody on the show said labels are for food, not people. So people get shy away from the word illness. So I like to say mental health or mental wellness, because that's part of what scares people, the word illness, or
it does
mentally ill or whatever. But yeah, no, I have post-traumatic stress, anxiety, ADHD, lost my parents when I was young, persevered through life. There's a whole bunch of I could talk for longer than you probably want me to. But
you'd be a great participant.
Yeah, because I'm all messed up, and look at me now. We can all achieve something. It doesn't matter what happens to us. It's how we react to it that defines our character, right?
That's right.
Anyway, thank you so much for being on the show. It's time for me to wrap up.
Thank you.
Everyone have a wonderful weekend. We are on every Thursday, Friday, 12 to 1. And on all platforms. Look at mocwithtiffany.com for more information. Thank you, John. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Ed. Everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, all the friends that are watching. Everyone have a blessed weekend, and see you next week.
Bye-bye.
You'll see how you grow. Many kinds of love you get to define. Find some. Don't put yourself down, time for a change. Believe in yourself, time to rearrange. Be your best friend, bring hope to your day. Lose your critic, get out of your way. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it, moments of clarity. To yourself be kind, it will please your mind. Find your joy, trust in you. Put in the time, you'll see how you grow. Many kinds of love you get to define. Find self-love, you're so alive. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity.